All right, peace, everybody. Yeah, this is another semester of TTM Academy. We're back in the house. All right, so peace to everybody. So today, I'm just gonna give my 2 cents on the Dave Chappelle thing, but also, like with the whole little baby, not little baby, I'm sorry, DaBaby, the comments and all that stuff. The thing is that a lot of people aren't realizing that Will Smith actually did the same exact thing, and I'm going to show a clip. Nobody in the internet's talking about this. I haven't seen anybody talk about Will Smith in all this whole discussion. Will Smith said the exact same thing as DaBaby, but what Will Smith is light skinned and little and Will Smith also did Brokeback Mountain, or no, not Brokeback Mountain. What was that movie he did? He did that movie, one of his early first movies that set his career off, where it was like a golf movie or something, and or whatever. But it just shows that he's given the pass, but dark skinned rapper, DaBaby's not given the pass. So that there's a lot of dynamics going on to this. So I'm gonna play this clip right quick, right? So I'm gonna flip around, all right? Because because if you really listen to what DaBaby said, it's not a bad thing. He said, you don't want to be in the parking lot giving head. That's literally, nobody wants that for their daughter or their son, right? Nobody wants that. It's a bad thing. So there's nothing wrong with dissing bad things, right? And it's a hip hop tradition to be like, all the ugly people be quiet, all these types of things, you know what I'm saying? And before I play this Will Smith clip, on the whole cancel culture thing, I'm 100% for cancel culture, because the thing about cancel culture is originally called the civil rights movement. And now the European diaspora has tried to manipulate it and manipulate, black progress and human progress, really human progress and human equality, and call it, and they try to rename it as cancel culture. But we're just talking about progress, moving forward, and things like that, and they try to call it cancel culture. So I'm gonna flip this around. Let me see. So let me press play. I'm gonna flip this. All right. So boom. Here's Will Smith.
Everybody out there is ugly. Shut up. All the guys out there that got AIDS, shut up.
I'm gonna run that back.
Everybody out there is ugly. Shut up. All the guys out there that got AIDS, shut up. All the girls that don't like guys, shut up. All right, now check this out. Our homeboys that couldn't be here today.
All right. So boom. We just saw it. We just saw it right there. He said all the people that got AIDS, shut up. Right? He said that. Will Smith said it, but nobody's coming for Will Smith. Right? Why is nobody coming for Will Smith? Right? So, you can see it's obviously a double standard. And now I'm going to play DaBaby's clip. I'm going to play it. Let me flip this around. Let's see. There we go.
You didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks. Put a cell phone like that up. Lady, if your pussy smell like water, put a cell phone like that up. Fellas, lights up. Fellas, if you ain't sucking nigga dick in the parking lot, put your cell phone like that up. Let's be real about this shit. Yeah, keep it fucking real. Some of y'all niggas suspect as a motherfucker. Let's be real.
All right. So, on the topic of Dave Chappelle, shout out to Dave Chappelle. He's constantly breaking barriers, constantly, at the same time while he's making mad money, he's, exposing a lot of stuff. And what he exposes is a real thing, the fact that, in this society, we're so used to being programmed through neuro-linguistic programming to accept Black Death and pogroms in the hood and all that type of stuff. We've been programmed to accept that. So DaBaby literally killed a guy in Walmart, right? He was standing his ground in Walmart, literally killed a guy. It didn't mess up his career, made his career bigger. And then he makes this one comment about not having AIDS and not giving head in the parking lot, right? It's like, does anybody want to have HIV? No, people don't want to have it. Do people, does anybody want their kids growing up to be given head in the parking lot? No, right? So those aren't bad things to want to discourage. And he was using a hip hop call and response tradition, right? Pioneered by Will Smith, right? Pioneered by Will Smith with the whole if you don't have AIDS thing, right? So we saw right there, Will Smith did it, and Will Smith doesn't get any trouble for it. So people will be like, oh, that's before cancel culture. But, people, like with Beanie Man and a lot of reggae artists and all that things like that. People go way back and listen to all their old songs and ban them for all types of stuff. But notice you don't see any European people getting banned for all the millions of things that they do. Like Sarah Silverman wearing blackface, she gets invited to the Democratic, National Convention. You know what I'm saying? There's a chart I created. Over 100 celebrities are on the chart. All of them did blackface. All of them are multimillionaires, and their careers are getting bigger and bigger. So it just goes to show that like exactly what Dave Chappelle was saying. Somebody can kill somebody in Walmart, and the Euro community is like, wow, that's cool. He's an amazing rapper. It's #1 song on the radio. And then the second he starts discouraging promiscuous behavior, because that's what that is. Giving head in the parking lot is promiscuous behavior. And DaBaby, even though his songs aren't anti-promiscuous, he was still promoting it at that one point. At that one point in time, he was saying like, hey, you got a good job, you got your pay, you got your money coming from the correct place. You're not cracked out giving head in the parking lot for money, right? Nobody wants that. So Little Baby is making a positive statement in that. He's making a positive statement. You should be working hard, doing whatever you're doing, and you shouldn't have to be, putting yourself down. But if you go back to like the history of, let's say you take the Democratic, that guy in California, that Democratic donor, he had black males overdosing at his house and all that stuff, and that's what they want you to be. They're like, hey, they want you to be like kind of a tweak, overdosing on fentanyl at a Democrat's house. And if you try to say, yeah, we don't want you, on fentanyl in the parking lot, doing stuff like that, then you're supposed to be demonized for that. So, shouts to DaBaby and Dave Chappelle for, exposing all this cognitive dissonance and just, craziness, because the thing about, racism in society and all that stuff is that they're trying to use the LGBT stuff to kind of mask over and be like, hey, this is the new movement, this is the new civil rights movement, and all that stuff y'all black people are asking for, all that's old, right? And we got I think it was like the National Black Foundation or something telling Dave Chappelle to take it down. But notice that same Black Foundation or whoever that organization isn't asking for reparations or isn't trying to change stuff. All these the griot, OK Player, they're all trying to kind of promote like this whole buck breaking Lil Nas X culture. And because what people don't realize is that LGBT is really not necessarily a sexual preference is not a revolutionary act, because if you look on your dollar bills, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, all these people, they were all human traffickers, and they were all LGBT too. So any human trafficker that's dealing having relations with men, women, and children, they're also part of the same community. So that community is not a new community. It's always been here since the beginning, from whenever people started doing that. But I'm not here to denounce that community. I'm here to say that community it's not a one community. It's just an act that people do. Just like some people play soccer, some people don't. There's Republicans that play soccer, there's Democrats that play soccer, right? There's people that aren't either that play soccer, right? So there's people that are human traffickers that do that, and there's people that don't. Now, DaBaby was just talking about, people should be proud to not be cracked out, and that's not a bad thing. That's the point of this lecture, is that it's not a bad thing to not be cracked out, right? We shouldn't be promoting being cracked out. And even though, you know, he promotes a lot of misogyny and a lot of other things like that, a lot of, you know, unnecessary violence. You know, he's slapped that woman at one of his shows, kind of like Kevin Gates. You know, even though Kevin Gates, you know, punches sister, that's why I would never, you know, promote Kevin Gates. You know, he's an insane person. You know, but they're promoting all these insane people. Like, when have you ever heard of a European person that kills somebody that has a top song on the radio? You don't hear that. But if you turn a black radio on, all it is killers. Even Drake's talking about shooters. So, you know, I've just had two cousins that were smoked in the back of their head. Both, like, you know, 19-year-olds, you know, very young, early 20s. And, you know, all this stuff has to really, really stop. The violence has to stop. The cracked out behavior has to stop. And people coming out and dissing that stuff isn't bad. So, you know, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. You know, I totally support Dave Chappelle's calling out the ridiculousness of modern media colonial caste system culture, where the people at the top caste can do whatever they want, and the people at the bottom caste, us black folks, the bottom caste, we're not allowed to talk about things like this, you know. And they come first and try to, you know, cancel our career or whatever, you know. They're really about to cancel DaBaby's career over that. But lastly, the last thing I have to say is, you know, what I was saying earlier as far as cancel culture. You know, the civil rights movement and black movements in general, that is cancel culture, and they're trying to rename and repackage it and as like, hey, cancel culture is just this thing, not like, hey, there's been tyranny. The European top caste has been terrorizing non-Europeans for centuries, and when we speak up about it, you know, they try to flip it on us and you know, call us anti this, anti that. But yeah, that's all I pretty much have to say on it. But yeah, I showed that clip, so y'all seen the clip. Will Smith definitely did that years before, you know what I'm saying, and you don't hear them talking about it. All right, peace.